So the news is finally official. Gerry McNamara is now the head coach of Siena.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's been rumored for quite some time, and now the news is officially official. Gerry McNamara, beloved here in the Syracuse community, is now the head coach of Siena. He was the associate head coach for the Orange this season. And what is the impact of him leaving? What are some of his best moments in an Orange uniform as an Orange head coach? We're going to talk all about it here on this special edition of the Locked On Syracuse Podcast. I'm Jackson Holzer. Thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. This isn't going to be a full podcast, probably 10 to 12 minutes. Just a quick little reaction to the breaking news here. Gerry McNamara officially the head coach of Siena. He's been on the Syracuse staff since 2011, and obviously he's one of the most prolific shooters in Syracuse history. He has 400 three-pointers made in college basketball. That is the most in SU history. He's mentored guys like Buddy Boeheim, Michael Carter-Williams, Dion Waiters, Elijah Hughes, Tyler Ennis, so much more under the tutelage of Gerry McNamara, responsible for a lot of the recruiting in the Northeast. I can probably do a full podcast on this, but this is just a quick reaction. Some of his best moments in an Orange uniform include, well, the big one, he hit 6 3-pointers in the first half of the 2003 National Championship game against Kansas. Obviously, Syracuse does not win that game without Gerry McNamara. And I think for a lot of people on the outside, they think of that 2003 team as Carmelo Anthony's year. And don't get me wrong, it was. That was Carmelo Anthony's team through and through. But perhaps, I don't think the Syracuse community forgets it. But from a national standpoint, Gerry McNamara hit 6 3-pointers in the first half against Kansas. And let me tell you guys, they don't win that game without McNamara, and we don't remember that team the same way if he doesn't make that contribution in the first half. Of course, then Carmelo Anthony leaves. Gerry McNamara has to take on a bigger role for Syracuse over the next 3 years. Another moment that I have jotted down, and there's so many big ones. I'm not going to mention all of them. So, guys, if you have any of what are your favorite moments of Gerry McNamara? Leave a comment below. The 2006 Big East tournament is definitely one that comes to mind, and you can really say that whole tournament, but perhaps the biggest one was in the first round against Cincinnati, where the Orange are on the ropes. They might not make the tournament. And they're down by 2 with seconds to go in the game. And Gerry McNamara hits a game-winning 3-pointer. And ultimately, it was the spark that led Syracuse to winning the 2006 Big East tournament. The Orange, in the blink of an eye, in 4 days, went from a team that might not make the tournament to a 5 seed. Now, ultimately, they fizzled out in the first round. But Gerry McNamara, who was the most outstanding player of that tournament, really carried that team through the Big East in 2006 and into the NCAA tournament. Now, coming up, who's going to replace Gerry McNamara as the associate head coach for this team? We'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions, Manscaped. This season, make sure to groom your carpets and the drapes with the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Clear out that winter bush with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and watch your confidence bloom like the springtime flowers. Embrace the season and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code LOCKEDON for 20% off plus free shipping. Introducing the season's champ, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Their 5th generation trimmer features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. It also features dual LED spotlights to guide you through the darkest winter debris. Navigate with confidence in your delicate areas. Hate making a mess? Not to worry, this bad boy is waterproof. Shave in the shower, in the bath, or in the ocean. I love this thing because it comes with a compact case. I take it with me everywhere I go. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code LOCKEDON.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code LOCKEDON at manscaped.com. Nothing like a little spring cleaning in your pants. This week's March Madness bracket highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest. Just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs, these guys were able to take it to the next level. The Alabama Crimson Tide can only be described as a Pathfinder. They've been thrilling to watch and have really created a lane for themselves entering the tournament as one of the hottest teams in the country. After taking down North Carolina in the Sweet 16, they'll look to battle Clemson to earn a trip to the Final Four for the first time in program history. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. So Gerry McNamara is now officially the head coach of Siena Basketball. First of all, I forgot to mention this off the top, but probably should have. Congratulations to Gerry McNamara. You know, a lot of people thought that he might become the head coach of Syracuse when Jim Boeheim stepped down and was ultimately given to Autry. Now is McNamara's chance to establish himself to the next level as a head coach. And you figure for McNamara's standpoint, this is the stepping stone, right? If he can do well at Siena, he can maybe parlay that success into a Power 6 opening if one were to become available. So congratulations to Gerry McNamara on that regard. He was an assistant for Syracuse since 2011. He's been on the staff ever since. Now, as far as how Syracuse plans to replace McNamara, 2 names come to mind for me. I would say Alan Griffin is one of them. He's been an assistant since 2017. Certainly seems capable of getting the next challenge. The other one, which is probably a little bit more interesting, is Mike Hopkins. Mike Hopkins was a Syracuse assistant from 1995 to 2017, so that's 22 years. Obviously played for Syracuse as well, and he was recently fired as the head coach of Washington. Now, we don't wish for anyone to be fired on this channel, but hey, he's available, and he's familiar with the program, obviously, and we love him. So he certainly doesn't seem like a bad candidate to step back into the role as an associate coach if it's one of those where you're branching out the search. You're not just promoting from within, but it's someone who is definitely familiar with the program and also has head coaching experience. Perhaps he could be of guidance to Autry. So that's the impact of Gerry McNamara leaving. Those are some of the guys who I think could replace him on the staff. Honestly, when you look at the outlook of Syracuse basketball for next season, losing an assistant shouldn't, change expectations one way or another here. But I don't know if there's anyone who's had a greater impact, or I don't know if you can name me 5 other people in the last 30 years who've had a bigger impact in the Syracuse community than Gerry McNamara. I mean, Jim Boeheim, Melo, there's others, but GMac, the most prolific shooter in Syracuse basketball history, number one in all-time three-pointers made, 2006 Big East tournament player of the tournament. Had 6 3-pointers, as I mentioned, against Kansas in the 2003 National Championship game, who I also said maybe outsiders don't really know, but the Orange certainly do not win that game and do not have a national championship if not for Gerry McNamara. So on behalf of Locked On Syracuse, on behalf of the entire Syracuse community, we wish Gerry McNamara nothing but the best. We hope he succeeds at Siena. Perhaps he'll bring in some of his former players. Who knows? That's pure speculation, but we wish him nothing but the best. So, farewell, GMac. We loved you. You're not going far. Good luck at Siena. And one day, maybe you'll be back.